Now, one of those American citizens of note has actually been in Canada the last little while speaking. Al Gore has been in Canada. He was in Toronto at a fundraiser dinner. It raised $100,000 for David Suzuki's foundation, so I guess that's okay. But I kept watching, I'm watching late night news, and I'm seeing clips of Al Gore, and I'm seeing clips of David Suzuki, and I'm seeing a lot of happy people, but nobody really addressed Climategate. Nobody really addressed all those leaked emails that said, problem? What problem? Is there a problem? Nobody's talking about that now, except to say, and I think one of Gore's officials, I believe he was quoted as saying, well, there's dissenters everywhere. Judi McLeod joins the show again. Judy's the editor at CanadaFreePress.com, one of those websites that I enjoy with a cup of coffee in the morning. How are you, Judi?
I'm fine, thank you, Gary. How are you?
I'm well. Good to get you on the show. Why didn't Al Gore speak up on this?
Well, I think it's been typical of Mr. Gore. He doesn't speak up. He's never been available for any of the scientists who want to debate him. He seems to just slide away from this issue, and for all intents and purposes, it's almost like Climategate does not exist for Al Gore.
Okay, so for our listeners that aren't up on Climategate, explain your perception of what's gone on here.
Well, I mean, it actually our fabulous columnist Tim Ball is an expert on this. That's been his career. He's a Canadian climatologist, and they have been orchestrating Mr. Gore and the politicians with the help of the United Nations. They've been orchestrating what's going on with global warming. They've been demonizing CO2, which is, of course, according to the scientists, in fact, 30,000 of them. It's the least of the so-called dangerous greenhouse gases. And now some hacker or whistleblower, depending on what term you want to apply to this person, broke into a university in East Anglia, England, and got even some of the emails got them out where some of these IPCC, these United Nations scientists who have been orchestrating it, is now they have proof in writing in their emails. But of course, the mainstream media is playing dead on it again. So it's sort of an ongoing scandal.
Should I be offended by that? As a member of the mainstream media, should I be offended by
well,
that?
I don't mean to. When I'm saying the mainstream media, that's a big.
It's a big group. It's a big group.
Yeah, and
But you know what, Judi? Because Tim Ball's a regular on this show, and I get a lot of emails of complaint when I have Tim Ball on. People tell me I'm only putting the extremist view on.
Well, I mean, my goodness, if Tim Ball is an extremist, I can't imagine anybody calling Tim Ball.
Well, I get it in emails, but that's okay. I'm okay for that, because here's my perspective on this particular issue. You've got the Suzukyites on one end, okay,
right,
and you've got the people that think Mother Earth is purging on the other end. So
right,
somewhere in the middle, the truth lies.
Okay,
that's kind of the way I look at it. I'm not an extremist guy. I don't think I don't think we're going to hell in a handbasket, and I don't think Mother Earth is purging. I think we're culpable to a certain degree, but I don't think it's as bad as everybody wants me to believe it is. You see,
okay.
You see what I'm? Is that fair?
I understand where you're coming from. But you said why you should be offended as a member of John Q. Public as well, as a citizen Kane, so to speak. Let's get science and the truth out there. I think that I think it's rather ridiculous the way that the politicians are playing it. It's used as certainly the up and coming cap and trade is a very fast way for them to get more money out of people, out of the taxpayer. So I guess that's why you should be offended.
Yeah, I'm not easily offended, but and I don't want to speak on behalf of mainstream media. I think what I do is part of mainstream media, but I don't think I do it that way.
Right.
Well,
I guess when we're talking about mainstream media, we're talking they're the same offenders over and over again. The New York Times, but I do think you're right. I think that is sort of a brush that we're all of us that are not in the so-called mainstream media are very quick, and I think we should be more selective on what is mainstream media.
Yeah, well, it's there's a lot of it out there. Is that part of the problem? Is there so much Are there so many people contributing to the soup now, Judi, that it's just it's unpalatable now? Is that part of the problem? Because like you read bloggers, and I don't know, and I have a blog, so I have to be careful. When I question bloggers, I question, do they have any journalistic training, or is there just free thought? I read a lot of different bloggers. There's YouTube. There's all kinds of ways to express yourself, and we're inundated 24/7 with this, aren't we? Is that part of the problem?
To be honest with you, if I'm answering you honestly, I would have to say yes. I think that is part of the problem. I do think that that has become very much part of the big picture, that anybody, anywhere, can be a so-called citizen journalist. And to be honest with you, it's like anything. If they're coming on and they're coming at you with no experience, of course, it's a problem. I mean, it's really not fair to compare a blogger to a trained journalist. Okay, now my blogger friends are going to be ticked off at me.
Yeah.
That's basically the truth. Yeah.
As are mine, but I'm okay with that too. So the bottom line here is Mr. Gore isn't saying anything. Why? Because he's got nothing to add to this, or he's afraid of contradicting himself?
Oh, Gary, I have to say that there's no doubt about it that he really has done a pretty good job of disappearing. I mean, it is the truth that even your interviewee, Dr. Tim Ball, has never been able to get Al Gore to debate him. In fact, Al Gore has never debated anybody, except for the sort of the scientists that do his bidding. He's never ever made himself available to debate the issue. So you're saying, does he have nothing more to say? Gee, I wish I saw it that way, Gary, but I don't think that's the case. I think that he doesn't have to. He sort of does what he wants when it comes to global warming.
Well, we all have our carbon footprints. Al's a little bit bigger than most of us.
Well, you said it, Gary, not me.
So I'll take the hit. Judi, thank you.
You're welcome indeed.
I need to get you on the show again. Thanks. Judi McLeod is the editor at CanadaFreePress.com. So where does Al Gore stand on all this? So the question is, who do you believe? Do you believe those who say climate change is real,